Once a new lifer goes through our Stage 3 classes and decides to get baptized, they're essentially saying, I will follow Jesus. This puts them right into Stage 4 as a follower. Spiritually, they're like a child whose distinctive trait is the one word, emulation. When our youngest daughter was a toddler, she often cracked us up by imitating one of us doing something. She didn't quite fulfill the same functions, but she sure thought she had the right moves. And that's a child's way of learning and growing, by following others. This is why Jesus says to his believers, follow me and I will make you fishers of men, meaning following Jesus is a precondition to serving him. So that's why following Jesus is Stage 4 and serving him is Stage 5. Now, how do we know that there is a need for Stage 4? It actually came about because we see too many churches rush new believers into service only to reap conflicts and divisions, because the spiritual infants were deprived of an opportunity to stabilize and develop roots into the Word. You know, asking a newborn believer to serve is the equivalent of asking a newborn to go and wash dishes for you, you know? And the truth is, the longer we've lived, the more people we develop, the more we realize that everyone's been hurt in one way or another. And most people have deep traumas they've never dealt with. And traumas that are unresolved results in dysfunction, right? And just picture taking that dysfunction into a team where someone looks like or talks like the person who traumatized you, or in many cases, someone raises an issue innocuously, but that happens to be your hot button. Explosion or implosion at that point is just a matter of time. So with so many landmines within us, it is imperative for a believer to work on their own issues before serving alongside others. They would have to be retrained by the power of Jesus' resurrection to ignore their fears and learn to trust and obey the Word and His Spirit. You know, that doesn't happen just by knowing it in your head. That takes practice and a lot of undoing and relearning and retraining before a new habit can be formed. You know, Stage 4 is basically spiritual detox, or for some, it's spiritual rehab, where you're unlearning some bad habits and relearning good habits of assumptions, thoughts, emotions, perspectives, even your self-talks, by identifying the lies that you've embraced and learning to live by the truth in everyday life. Without a relearning process like Stage 4, one will be hard-pressed to go the distance in Stage 5, where relational conflicts are bound to happen when you serve, right? We've seen too many people enter into service at the church only to quit and leave the church when conflict takes place. And if you've been in the church long enough, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, let's summarize the traits of a Stage 4 person. We still call them green tags at the bridge because green stands for having life, and the green stage is where people are working through their inner life. Again, in Stage 3, they're working on their identity issues, and in Stage 4, they're confronting their past baggage and going deeper by identifying sinful patterns, the lies they've embraced, and then learning to live by the truth instead. So, the Stage 4 journey involves acquiring the habit of introspection, where you look to your past to identify the hurts or influences or events that mean something to you or have impacted you in one way or another. And then you learn to process that information by seeing how these words or gestures or events impacted you and made you who you are today, for better or worse. And then we teach you to discern whether there is a sinful habit that has resulted from these happenings in your past and whether it's robbed you of the promises and blessing God intended for you. And then we teach you to receive healing from the Holy Spirit, who reveals your true condition to you. Then you learn how to be renewed by the truth and learn to live by the truth instead of the lies you've embraced. And at the point you can reclaim the promises and blessings He gives to those who fear Him and walk in His ways. The transformation class doesn't fix everything for you, But just like parents teaching children to manage themselves, it teaches you to develop healthy habits that will help you for the rest of your life. That is, if you practice it, just like godliness requires training and practice. So if you've never taken our transformation class, we urge you to do it before considering any service. Commit 9 months to a year as a present to yourself, going deeper with other Stage 4 sojourners and experience what Hebrews 12:1 says. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such great clouds of witnesses, and that clouds of witnesses of people sharing their stories with one another, let us throw off every encumbrance and sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with endurance the race set out before us. Once you finish dealing with your own desert, then you can move on and begin to enjoy serving Him within your spiritual family.